Hello, I'm Doug Peckinpah, Group Editorial Director of Snack Food and Wholesale Bakery, and I had the opportunity to attend the Washington Red Raspberry Commission's inaugural Baking Collaborative. This innovation workshop introduced attendees to the world of Washington red raspberries and their many uses in baking. The workshop took place at the Washington State University Bread Lab in Burlington, Washington. We were hosted by Director Dr. Stephen Jones and his staff at the Washington State University Bread Lab. Attendees were greeted on the first day with an outdoor wood-fired oven bakery exercise featuring bagels in the morning and then pizzas in the afternoon. Dr. Jones founded and directs the Bread Lab, and together with his PhD students, he works globally with farmers, millers, and bakers to develop a decentralized, equitable, and affordable non-commodity grain system. At the Bread Lab, Dr. Jones works with whole grain wheat, rye, barley, and buckwheat, with a focus on yield for the farmer and flavor and nutrition for all of us. The focus of the Baking Collaborative was working with different red raspberry ingredients. These included items like dried whole raspberries, juice concentrate, individually quick frozen whole and broken berries, and purees. The workshop's lead bakery instructor was Solveig Tofte. She's the owner of Sun Street Breads, a bakery and cafe in Minneapolis. She's also the founder of the Intergalactic Bakers Federation, a benevolent group celebrating the expertise and generosity of bakers everywhere. Solveig walked us through each of the steps required for the different applications, including making dough with raspberry ingredients. The laminated doughs were used for the bicolor croissants that were created for the workshop, including poppy twists, chocolate raspberry croissants, and snails. The use of raspberry ingredients in the dough brought an interesting point of differentiation to these sweet goods and would be a clear indication of a flavor difference in these different products. The state of Washington was a logical location for the workshop, in the sense that Washington produces approximately 90% of the nation's frozen red raspberry crop. The raspberries are grown and delivered for freezing as IQF puree or juice concentrate. They're grown exclusively for the frozen market, as the Washington climate is not conducive to year-round production. They concentrate on focusing on the highest quality raspberries and preserving that quality and taste by freezing them at the peak of ripeness. The opportunity to experiment with raspberry ingredients was a central focus of the workshop. The bicolored croissant dough was a star of the workshop. Solveig, our chef instructor, walked us through each of the steps required for each of the bakery applications that took center stage at the Baking Collaborative. Not only did she walk us through all of the steps required in preparing the different ingredients, but she provided some technique cues and some hints and tips for the bakers in attendance to have a better and consistent presentation for their finished products. The finished look of the poppy twist provides a nice study in contrasting colors, with the red and the black contrasting with the white croissant dough. Raspberry played a couple of different roles in the development of these donuts. Bar applications are another consumer favorite, and during the workshop, the attendees developed a raspberry granola square application featuring raspberry jam, and in the mix it also had sesame and sunflower seeds as well as flaxseed meal. The granola squares also used the Bread Lab's signature whole wheat flour. Another star of the workshop was the buckwheat Danish dough, which was used to create blossoms and squares, with the squares featuring brie, raspberry, and rosemary for a nice, sweet, savory application. Dr. Lisa Jones, plant scientist for the Northwest Plant Company, closed out the workshop with a look at fermentation. Dr. Jones is currently a plant scientist for the joint venture berry breeding company Pacific Berries and is stationed with Enfield Farms in Washington. Dr. Lisa Jones covered a variety of different topics related to breeding and fermentation. The WRRC was organized by growers in 1976. It's funded by grower assessments on each pound of raspberries grown.